Okay, so today we're tackling interview prep for a pretty significant role. It's called an agricultural raw materials, seeds, and animal feeds distribution manager.
Yeah, that's a long one.
It is a mouthful,
Yeah,
but, it speaks to how important this job is.
it really does. It's a vital role.
And to help us really dive deep into this, we have some fantastic resources from RoleCatcher.
Oh, RoleCatcher's
They
great.
have career guides, interview guides, and they even have some AI tools that can help you really fine-tune your approach.
And we'll definitely talk more about those AI tools later on because they can be really valuable.
Definitely. Now, before we jump into the nitty-gritty of the interview questions, let's just step back for a minute
Okay.
and think about what this job actually entails. What would a typical day look like for someone in this role?
Well, you would definitely be coordinating a lot of deliveries, making sure things are moving smoothly from point A to point B.
Right. And we're not just talking about any deliveries, right?
No, we're talking about seeds, we're talking about animal feeds, raw materials, all the things that are essential to the agricultural industry. It's a big responsibility.
It is. And you're not just, sending things out. You're working with farmers, you're working with retailers, suppliers, making sure everyone's on the same page.
So it's really like you're the conductor of this big, complex orchestra.
Exactly. You got it. You have to make sure all the instruments are playing in harmony.
I love that analogy. So let's talk about how to ace the interview for this conductor role.
Okay, let's do it.
And RoleCatcher's Guide has some excellent sample questions to get us started.
Perfect.
The first one is, can you tell us about your experience with agricultural raw materials distribution?
Okay. So this is your opportunity to really showcase your passion for the industry.
Even if you haven't worked in this exact role before, right?
Right. Even if it's not a perfect match. Think about the skills you have that are transferable. Maybe you've managed inventory in a different industry.
Or maybe you've coordinated logistics for a volunteer organization.
Exactly. Those are all relevant experiences, so you want to highlight those. You want to connect the dots for the interviewer so they can see how your background prepares you for this specific role.
Exactly. Now, they might follow up with something like, what aspects of this particular role are you most excited about?
Ooh, that's a good one.
It is. And this is where your research comes in handy. Have you looked into the company's operations?
Their values,
Yeah.
their recent projects.
Exactly. Because you want to be able to pinpoint specific aspects of the role that genuinely excite you and that align with your skills.
So, for example, maybe they're known for their sustainability efforts.
Right. Or maybe they're using cutting-edge technology in their distribution network.
And that's something that really interests you.
Yeah. You want to be able to articulate that.
It shows them that you've done your homework and you're not just there for any job.
Exactly. You're there for this specific job. Okay, let's move on to another question.
That could be.
How do you ensure that animal feed is stored and distributed in a safe and hygienic manner?
Ooh, this feels like a really high stakes area.
Oh, absolutely. Food safety is paramount. You don't want to mess around with that.
So how do you approach this question in an interview?
Well, first of all, you can mention any specific training or certifications you have.
Like HACCP or GMP?
Yes, those are great to have. But even if you don't, you want to explain your process.
Like how would you ensure that feed is stored at the correct temperature?
Exactly. And that it's protected from contamination during transport. You want to demonstrate that you understand the protocols and that you take them seriously.
Right, because the interviewer wants to know that you're not going to cut corners.
Exactly. They want to see that you're a stickler for the rules when it comes to food safety.
Okay, so what if they push further with, can you describe a time you identified a potential food safety risk and how you addressed it?
Ooh, that's a good one. Now's your chance to tell a story.
A real-life example.
Yes. Maybe you spotted a lapse in hygiene practices or a delivery arrived with damaged packaging.
Something that raised a red flag for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you want to walk them through the steps you took to correct the situation.
And what the outcome was?
Yes. It shows that you're proactive and that you don't just wait for problems to happen. You actively look for ways to prevent them.
That's really important in a role like this where you're responsible for such a critical part of the supply chain.
Absolutely.
All right, ready for another one?
Bring it on.
Can you tell us about a time when you had to resolve a conflict with a supplier or customer?
Ooh, conflict resolution. That's
Yeah.
a key skill in any management role.
It really is, especially in this one. You're going to be dealing with a lot of different stakeholders.
So how do you answer this question effectively?
Choose a situation where you had to mediate between different parties.
Maybe a delayed shipment or a disagreement over quality?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And then focus on your communication and problem-solving skills.
Did you listen to both sides?
Did you try to find a compromise?
And were you able to maintain a positive working relationship even after the conflict was resolved?
That's the key. Because in this role, you need to be able to maintain those relationships even when things get tough.
Yeah.
Right. It's not just about winning the argument. It's about finding a solution that works for everyone.
Exactly.
Now, I'm curious, how does RoleCatcher's AI come into play during all this interview prep?
Oh, their AI is amazing. It can analyze the specific job description you're targeting.
And
It identifies keywords and suggests ways to weave those keywords into your answers.
wow. So it's like having a personalized coach who helps you tailor your responses for maximum impact.
Exactly. It's
That's
incredible.
amazing technology.
It is. It can really give you an edge in the interview process.
So it's not just about having great answers. It's about making sure those answers resonate with what the hiring manager is looking for.
Right, because they're looking for specific things.
Yeah.
And if you can use the language that aligns with their expectations, it shows that you're really paying attention.
I like it. So they have an AI coach, and they have a whole bunch of other resources as well.
Oh, yeah, tons of resources. So definitely check out their website if you're preparing for an interview in this field.
Definitely. Now let's get back to those interview questions because we have a few more to cover.
Okay, let's do it.
This one is particularly relevant. How do you ensure that distribution operations are environmentally sustainable?
Oh, sustainability is a hot topic these days, and it's especially important in the agricultural industry.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
how do you showcase your eco-consciousness in an interview setting?
You want to think about concrete examples,
Like
optimizing transportation routes to reduce fuel consumption,
implementing recycling programs?
maybe even advocating for suppliers who use eco-friendly packaging.
So it's not enough to just say you care about sustainability.
Right. You have to show them how you've actually put those values into action.
Now, what if they follow up with something like, what are some of the biggest challenges to implementing sustainable practices in this industry?
Ooh, good question. This is your chance to show them that you understand the realities on the ground.
That is not always easy being green.
Exactly. Maybe it's cost barriers to adopting new technologies.
Or resistance to change within the supply chain.
Or even just the sheer complexity of measuring and tracking environmental impact across a vast network.
It's a complex issue.
It is. But you want to show them that you're aware of the complexities and that you're still committed to finding solutions.
Right, because that's what they're looking for. Someone who can think critically and creatively about these challenges.
Exactly.
Okay, well, let's take a quick pause here,
Okay.
and we'll come back and tackle some more of those challenging interview questions in just a minute.
Sounds good. Okay, so we're back and ready to dive into some more interview questions.
I'm ready. Hit me with another one.
All right, how about this one? How do you stay up to date on industry trends and regulations related to agricultural raw materials and animal feed distribution?
Ooh, that's a good one. It's a fast-moving industry.
Yeah.
So how do you show interviewers that you're on top of things?
Well, you don't want to just say, oh, I read industry news. You know, you have to be more specific than that.
So give them some concrete examples.
Exactly. Mention specific publications like trade journals, newsletters from organizations like the Institute for Supply Management.
Okay. So you're showing them that you're actively seeking out information.
Right. And attending webinars or conferences is another great way to demonstrate initiative.
So it's not just about passively absorbing information. It's about actively engaging with the industry.
Exactly. Now, they might dig a little deeper with something like, can you give a specific example of a recent industry development that you found particularly interesting or impactful?
Okay, now you really have to show them what you know.
This is your chance to shine. Maybe you read about a new technology like blockchain being used for supply chain transparency.
Or a change in regulations around feed safety.
Yeah, something like that. Briefly explain the development and why you found it significant.
And try to connect it back to the role, if possible.
Exactly. You want to show them that you're not just aware of trends, but that you're also thinking critically about their implications.
All right, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about a more personal question. Can you describe a time when you had to make a difficult decision related to distribution operations?
Ooh, this is a classic behavioral question. They want to understand your decision-making process.
So how do you approach a question like this?
Choose a situation where the stakes were high. Maybe you had to choose between a cheaper supplier with a less reliable track record.
Or a more sustainable option that increased costs?
Yeah, something like that. And then walk them through your rationale. Did you gather all the necessary information?
Did you weigh the pros and cons?
Did you seek input from others?
And what was the outcome of your decision?
They want to see that you can handle pressure-analyze situations thoroughly and ultimately take responsibility for your choices.
And speaking of choices, remember that RoleCatcher's AI can also help you analyze your own responses to these questions.
Oh, that's right. I almost forgot about that feature.
It's pretty cool. So how does it work?
Well, you can record yourself answering practice questions. And their AI will assess things like your clarity, conciseness, and even your use of positive language.
Wow, so it's like having a personal speech coach right there in your pocket.
Exactly. It's amazing technology.
Okay, let's get back to those interview questions. Here's one that often comes up. Can you discuss your experience managing a team?
This is all about showcasing your leadership skills.
So what kind of examples should you share?
Think about times when you've motivated a team to achieve a goal, delegated tasks effectively, or resolved conflicts between team members.
And choose a story that highlights your ability to build a strong team and get results.
Now, they might follow up with, what's your leadership style?
That's a common one.
It is.
Yeah.
And you want to be authentic, but also frame your style in a way that aligns with the role.
So are you collaborative and supportive?
Or more directive and results-oriented.
And how has your style been successful in the past?
And don't forget to mention your willingness to adapt based on the team and the situation.
Right. Because flexibility is key in any leadership role.
Absolutely. Okay, ready for another question?
Bring it on.
All right. How do you ensure that distribution operations are cost-effective while maintaining quality standards?
Ooh, that's a tough one. It's all about finding that sweet spot between efficiency and excellence.
Exactly. Have you ever streamlined a process to reduce waste?
Negotiated better rates with suppliers.
Or implemented a new technology that improved accuracy and reduced errors?
So highlight your ability to think strategically and find creative solutions that benefit both the bottom line and the company's reputation for quality.
And they might probe further with, can you give an example of a time you had to balance cost considerations with quality requirements? How did you approach that situation?
So they want a concrete example.
Yes. Think of a situation where you had to make tough choices. Maybe a supplier offered a tempting discount on a product that didn't quite meet your quality standards.
Okay. And then
Describe how you weighed the potential cost savings against the risk to the company's reputation and how you ultimately made a decision that prioritized both fiscal responsibility and product quality.
it's a great way to show them that you can think holistically about the impact of your decisions.
Okay, I think we've covered a lot of ground here. Okay, so we've talked about a lot of those tricky interview questions.
Yeah, we've covered some good ground there.
But before you walk into that interview room, there's one more thing we need to talk about.
What's that?
Research.
Oh, research.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's crucial. You can't just wing it. You got to do your homework.
exactly.
Right.
You need to understand the company's culture, their values, their recent initiatives.
It shows that you're genuinely interested,
Yeah,
and it helps you tailor your answers.
right. Because you want to be able to connect your experience to their specific needs and goals.
Now, speaking of research, RoleCatcher's Career Guide actually has some interesting insights about career paths in this field.
Oh, really? What do they say?
Well, they highlight that this role can be a stepping stone to all sorts of leadership positions within the agricultural sector.
So you're not just stuck in this one role forever.
Yeah.
Right. With experience and further development, you could potentially move into roles like supply chain director, operations manager, even CEO.
Wow. So it's really a role with a lot of potential.
It is, if you're ambitious and you're willing to put in the work.
I like it. So this role isn't just about managing distribution. It's about building a career in an industry that's vital to everyone.
Exactly. Now let's talk about making a strong final impression during the interview.
Okay. How do you do that?
One of the best ways is by asking insightful questions.
Hey, yeah, it's your turn to interview them.
Exactly. What kind of questions show that you've been paying attention and that you're genuinely curious?
Okay, give me some examples.
You could ask about their specific sustainability goals, their approach to incorporating new technologies, or even their biggest challenges in the coming year.
So it's about going beyond the basic questions and really digging into the things that matter to them.
Exactly. And it shows that you're thinking long term.
That you're not just looking for a job, but you're looking for a place where you can contribute and grow.
Exactly. Now, before we wrap up, I have one final piece of advice for anyone stepping into this role for the first time.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Build strong relationships.
Relationships.
Yes. This role is all about collaboration.
Working with suppliers, coordinating with internal teams.
Exactly. You need to be able to build rapport and trust with the people you're working with.
So invest time in getting to know them, understand their perspectives, and foster open communication.
It will make everything smoother and more enjoyable in the long run.
That's great advice. And remember, RoleCatcher has all those resources to help you prepare for your interview.
Their AI tools can be a game changer.
So use them, practice your answers, get feedback, and go into that interview feeling confident and prepared.
And remember, the agricultural industry needs passionate and skilled people like you.
So go out there, showcase your talents, and make a difference.
We're rooting for you.
That's it for this deep dive into the world of agricultural raw materials, seeds, and animal feeds distribution management.
Until next time.
See ya.